TD Garden, where better than 18,000 will be here to see if the Celtics can keep their season alive against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Avery Bradley and company took Game 3, dropped Game 4. The last time they were in this building, they were beaten by 44 in Game 2. Kyrie Irving had 42 in Game 4. 21 of those in the third quarter. Al Horford and the Celtics hoping to set up a return trip to Cleveland for a Game 6, while the Cavs and LeBron James will try to close it out in 5 here in the Eastern Conference Finals. It is TNT NBA Tip-Off. It's presented by Auto Trader. And it comes to you live from TD Garden here in Boston. Ernie Johnson along with Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Charles Barkley. So Cleveland's have been pretty good at this closeout thing. They've won 12 straight closeout games, 10 of those on the road, including the last 6, and they'll try to get that done tonight. All these guys will weigh in on their chances and their expectations for Game 5, but we're going to start on the floor with Kristen Ledlow. Kristen.
And Ernie, after posting 34 in Game 4, LeBron James has said the closeout game is always the hardest. Even though he's undefeated in those games since returning to the Cavaliers, he added that the atmosphere here in Boston would make it even harder. Now, he's 1 win away from a 7th consecutive trip to the NBA Finals, but the Cavaliers are not yet looking ahead. Coach Ty Lue said, as much as you want to, you just can't yet. And he had this to say on what he expects from the Celtics.
A lot of fight. You know, they come to our building and beat us in Game 3. Just scrapping and competing, and came in Game 4, had us down 16 on our home floor. So this team's not going to give up. They're not going to stop playing, and we understand that. And we just got to be ready to, get in the fray, get in the fight, during the game. And they're going to bring the fight to you, and we got to be prepared for that.
And on the injury front, after scares in Game 4, both Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love are cleared and available to play. And addressing the reports that he may have been sick in Game 3, LeBron James smiled and said earlier today, "I'll be all right." Ernie?
All right, thank you very much, Kristen. So this series gets extended, Kenny, if
the Boston Celtics play with the same intensity they played in Games 3 and 4. They played well enough to win in Game 4. Kyrie Irving had a heroic effort for them to lose, and I don't know if he could do that same heroic effort at home, on the road. So you would hope that happened, and you would hope that even if he had that type of effort, that someone here, because they are home, will have a similar type out-of-body experience and maybe give you 6 to 8 points that they typically would not have gotten you.
Well, I think it's going to come down. They're going to play with great energy and great pride. But when these guys are all role players, they're going to have 3 or 4, not 1, not 2, but probably 3 guys who play out of their mind. Like the game Marcus Smart had, but he's not a great shooter, but he made 7 threes. Bradley's got to do it. Olynyk against the Wizards. They're going to have a minimum of 3 guys. All the other guys got to chip in, but they're going to have 3 of these role players going to have to probably get 18 to 20 points. That's their only chance.
Oh, there's a good look at Isaiah Thomas. Haven't seen much of Isaiah since he went down with the hip injury in this series, and Boston able to win a game without him in there, and again trying to extend the series tonight against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mentioned, Shaq, that Cleveland has won 12 straight closeout games. Your Lakers did that same thing. Take me inside the mentality of a team in position to close somebody out and not letting something unexpected happen.
Well, when you're playing in a hostile arena, you have to withstand their runs. You just have to keep it close, and just have to keep fighting. But everybody has to be focused. They're going to need another heroic game from somebody, maybe LeBron, maybe Kevin, maybe even Kyrie again. Because what's interesting about this team is they really haven't played a good game at home yet. During the regular season they were 30-11. They're 5-4 in the postseason. They owe these fans a good game, and I agree with Kenny. The way they played the last 2 games, where they're moving the ball, if they can, get a run here and, get them up by 16, it might be kind of hard for Cleveland to, come back from that.
As we watch and listen as the homestanding Celtics take the floor.
Ernie, what's going to be important is the first quarter. They've gotten stomped. the first 2 games at home. They were down double digits after game 1 and game 2. To me, I think you'll know at the end of the first quarter what's going to happen tonight, because you can't get down 20 points like they have been the first 2 home games. So to me, I think you'll know at the end of the first quarter what's going to happen tonight.
Yeah, game 1, 30-19 and 61-39 at the half. Game 2, 32-18 at the first quarter, 72-31 was the halftime score in game 2. So this is something, Brad Stevens said that game 2 left a scar with this team. Here's a chance to be back home and not have that be the lingering image of your last home game in Boston of the season.
Well, I agree. It left a scar, lingering image, but I don't think that's going to be what we see here tonight. I think the other thing that in closeouts, you talk to Shaq about, the mentality. You can't play the referees. A lot of times, because there's so much emotion to get to that closeout and end it. If you're Cleveland, your calls don't go, those 50-50 calls don't go your way, and you start to unravel. You cannot let the referees unravel you on those 50-50 calls. And that would be the key to closing people out. And then on the other end, the same with the Boston Celtics. You're trying to stay alive, and a couple calls don't go your way. You cannot be disheartened on those 50-50 calls. That helps you stay in the series. So to me, it's big.
What's going to be interesting, Ernie, as I said in my earlier statement, can the Boston Celtics score enough points? I mean, you typically have to score 100 points in an NBA game. Unless 3 or 4 of their players go crazy and get to 20, if 3 of them get 20, that's still only 60.
Yeah, you got 3 Cavs who are averaging at least 25 in this series, in LeBron, Kyrie, and Love.
Jay Crowder, Al Horford, Bradley, those 3 guys got to step up. Olynyk got to step up. I mean, I don't know if they can score enough points, because those guys aren't you. Al Horford's probably the only guy who came close to averaging 20 points in his entire career. So those other guys, the only thing that can help them guys is the crowd. Because the crowd can take you places you don't even think you're capable of going.
And remember, you got that big game out of Marcus Smart with 27 in game 3, the game they did win, and he had 7 out of 10 threes and then came back to earth in game 4. Here's a question for you. Who's been the best Cavalier in this series? Has it been LeBron James, who had a bad game 3, but Kyrie had the huge game 4. Kevin Love has been consistent. Who's been the best Cavalier in this series?
Ernie, it doesn't matter when you're on the championship team.
But you're not going to give me an answer.
Let me finish, Ernie. When you're on the championship team and you have a 1-2 or sometimes a 1-2-3 punch on any given night, any one of those guys can take over. When I lost my first finals against Kenny, Hakeem, of course, did his thing, but the second game, Sam Cassell got off, and then Clyde got off. So these guys definitely have a lot of weapons, but everybody, including the others, are definitely going to have to step up if they want to close this game out tonight. But to answer your question, Kyrie.
Well, I think it's been Kevin Love. Because you think about it, he dominated games 1 and 2, basically, other than LeBron. Kyrie didn't play very good in game 1 or 2. He played terrific the last couple games. But you go back and look at game 1 and 2, it was Kevin Love. Game 3, nobody really. Kevin was all decent, but nobody played well. But you see, Kevin still had 17 and 17 last game to go with Kyrie's 40.
Yeah. And he's shooting 51% in this series, 56% from 3. So there's a vote for Kyrie and a vote for Kevin Love as the best Cavalier in this series.
The best Cavalier in this series is LeBron James. Only because of this. He's a magnet, and everything attracts to him. Those opportunities become so much easier because of his ability to be on the basketball floor.
Or fouls being off the basketball floor and making somebody else shoulder
But whatever happens, you have to beware of LeBron James. The whole defense, what the Boston Celtics do and dictate, and their whole game plan is revolved around that guy who's been here 6-7 straight times now, going for a 7th straight NBA Finals. The world revolves around LeBron James.
Game 5 coming your way at the bottom of the hour. Cleveland Cavaliers, Boston Celtics. Hey, Niecy Nash tweeting that word on the street is Shaq got those stiletto nails on his feet. Now he's a size 24. Catch a special episode of Claws after the game tonight. Is Niecy correct, Shaq?
I love Niecy. I would never disrespect a gorgeous woman such as her. Niecy, I love you, and you are correct. I do have ugly toes.
Oh my goodness.
See, that's all you got.
my
That's all you.
goodness.
That's all you
My
need.
toes are terrible.
One trip to South Florida, and you can be looking
Love you,
just like
Niecy.
that. LeBron James and the Cavs. Marcus Smart and the Celtics. Game 5 coming up.